You know, it's been 3 years since I've been there, going on 3 years. I swear to God, I still have to take it in. I still remember that small boy struggling on McKenzie Street a long time ago, and I swear not a day goes not by that I don't remember where I come from. And again, my sinuses are draining, so bear with me. Thank you, everyone, and thanks to Nathan Ali and the Greater Fresno Area Chamber of Commerce for inviting me back to deliver the State of the City, and to everyone here at the State of the City Luncheon, and those watching on CMAC, including my father-in-law, Kurt Anderson. Hi, Kurt. Good afternoon. My greatest blessing in life is being a husband, a father, a grandfather, and not far behind has been the opportunity to serve you as mayor the past 2.5 years. I'm fortunate to have found my place and my purpose in the city that I grew up in and the city that made me who I am today. All things I have done in my life have led me to this moment. My story mirrors the stories of many other residents in Fresno. It started with a 2-bedroom home on McKenzie Street. I grew up poor, struggled to succeed at first, but kept battling and scraping, all the way from the military to the business world, to the mayor's office. And along the way, there were many cherished moments over the past 70 years and friendships that will last a lifetime. But when you reach the age of 70, you begin to take stock on where you've been, where you are, where you want to go, and the time you have left. And that self-reflection led me to the realization that I would not run for a second term. And rather than spending precious time and energy on a campaign trail, I chose to work on my vision for Fresno forward by continuing to improve economic prosperity for our city, improving public safety and the quality of life for all, and ultimately, bringing all of Fresno together. We've heard all the gossip, and I'm here to admit today there was a nefarious force working behind the scenes that shaped my decision to not seek a second term. This was a strong, commanding presence who made it clear to me that I had no other choice but to drop out of the mayor's race. That person was my wife, Trish. And standing behind her were her co-conspirators, including Philip, Susie, Tommy, Emily, Charity, Kylie, Elsie, Adeline, and Arista, a lot of girls there, who all coincidentally had the same last name, Abran. That was the nefarious force that talked me out of it. Lay the blame there. Believe me, you don't understand pressure until you've stood in front of my wife with her travel plans to New Orleans. So Trish, thank you for your support, your wisdom, and putting up with me for 40 years. I love you, Trish. And I love Fresno. This has been my home for over 60 years, and I love the people of Fresno. For the remainder of my 18 months that I have left in office, I will be focused every day on finishing strong. I will keep the pedal to the metal until December 31st, 2020. And in the days ahead, as we work to make Fresno a better place to live, work, and play, let's remember the words of President George Herbert Walker Bush from his first inaugural address. I take as my guide the hope of a saint. In crucial things, unity. In important things, diversity. And in all things, generosity. Now, more than ever, we need the spirit of collaboration that includes understanding and respecting everyone's needs, goals, and values. And today we examine the state of the city, celebrate our shared achievements for the past year, and look ahead to the future. I ask you all to join me in my vision to finish strong together. Just look how far we've come in just the past year. Nowhere was collaboration more important or more successful than the process to determine which projects would receive funding from the $66.5 million Transformative Climates Grant. Representatives from Southwest Fresno, Chinatown, downtown Fresno shared their ideas at dozens of public meetings, creating a historical collaboration between city and citizen. Its success speaks to the residents who spent countless hours identifying and analyzing projects that will ultimately transform our most vulnerable communities. This TCC grant will lead to triple the investment in economic development, and that will mean more jobs and better services for everyone. It will not only transform communities, it will transform lives, and I can't thank our residents enough. That approach, using unprecedented public feedback through accountability and transparency, has provided us a template for success that we are using in the search for Fresno's next police chief. We created a comprehensive, citizen-based public outreach campaign because this decision impacts everyone in Fresno, and that means that everyone in Fresno should have a say. 6 public meetings, one in each council, one in each policing district, and one at the Fresno Center, combined with an online survey in English, Spanish, and Hmong, produced over 2,000 responses describing the qualities, priorities, and issues that our residents would like to consider in our selection. The process is designed to find the best qualified candidate for the job through a nationwide search, and to also ensure that the community leaders and Fresno residents have a substantial input to guide our selection. Whoever steps in that role has big shoes to fill. Public safety has made tremendous strides in ensuring long-term safety and stability in our neighborhoods. We purchased the fire headquarters at Tulare and 8th Street in downtown Fresno in order to make it a permanent home and to save money. We were spending $600,000 a year on a lease. Over 10 years, $6 million. We bought it for $4 million. In 3 more years, we're going to own it outright and save $600,000. Our fire department, led by the able leadership of Chief Kerry Donis, has performed courageously over the past 12 months, responding to over 45,000 incidents with an improved response time. The fire department and Kerry Donis always deserve our respect and our thanks. Give them a hand. Our police department, led by Chief Jerry Dyer, also continues to shine. Under increasingly difficult circumstances, homicides were reduced by 43% in 2018, with significant reductions in violent crime and property crime. Give our police department a big hand. And we also broke ground on a long-awaited Southeast District Police Station at Tulare and Argyle to fulfill a promise to a neighborhood that has been waiting far too long. And we made a commitment to hire more dispatchers to reduce the response time on 911 callers, which frankly was at dangerous levels and totally unacceptable. Reducing our 911 response times will reduce the workload on our dispatchers, which is why the launch of our Fresno 311 system was so important. It's the universally recognized 3-digit non-emergency phone number that's more accessible, transparent, and user-friendly. When cities use a 311 system for non-emergencies and integrate that system with a mobile app where people can report problems without even picking up a phone, people take notice. Fresno residents have embraced innovation. There's been a lot of small things we've done that make a big difference. The Fresno mobile app that we introduced last year has now over 25,000 users, making service requests immediately from their smartphones. Technology continues to streamline our departments and make our services more accessible than they've ever been before. Our new online business and planning permit portal has helped process over 5,000 approvals, an increase of 25%. And online, on-time application processing rate are now over 90%. We've also created an interactive online tool for Operation Cleanup services that will allow customers to schedule their pickups on the same day that they request for items in front of their house. And I've saved the best tech news for last. We launched the online rental housing registry after a year of development from scratch by a very talented local team. As of today, our rental housing registry has registered over 85,000 units. Our dream of having an accurate, comprehensive registry of Fresno's rental units is now a reality. It is now the gold standard for cities around California that want to safeguard and improve their housing stock to provide decent, safe, and sanitary residential rental units in our community. Whether it's by phone, online, or mobile app, we all benefit from increased choices, thanks to the transparency and accountability that these new systems deliver. And there's another success story that flies in the face of a national trend. Public transit ridership in Fresno has increased by over 750,000 trips, in large part because of the launch of Bus Rapid Transit in February of 2008. Overall ridership is up 9% from last year, reversing a 9-year decline. Few cities can make that claim. And it wouldn't be the state of the city address without the mention of the continued growth in our downtown. Just look how far we've come since Fulton Street opened for business. We've seen many new restaurants and businesses with more on the way. And back in March, we had a Fres Yes Fest, bringing 18,000 people to Fulton Street. Another 8,000 people were at Chancey Park for the season opener of the Fresno Foxes soccer team, and 2 sold-out shows at Soroyan Theater for the popular musical Wicked. Give Fresno a hand. This is probably the biggest turnout in downtown in a long time. That's, I believe, at least in my years, the most I've ever seen downtown at one time. But downtown Fresno has the energy we hope for. And there's more important news coming in the months ahead. And here's a hint. Smart parking meters will be here. Be patient. You can give that a hand too. But as much as we celebrate what's happening downtown, it's just as important to understand what's happening down the street. Neighborhood revitalization has been a major part of city's investment in our community for many years now to focus on the southern part of our city. We've increased the number of neighborhoods on our Restore Fresno program to 15 now, with tremendous results thanks to the neighborhood revitalization team. Our team, using its proactive work in the Leavenworth neighborhood, where they discovered the home of Mrs. Cates and her daughter. And they found a blue tarp covering its roof to keep the rain out and other deplorable conditions. The team assisted the Cates family in filling out a HUD application that allowed them to hire a contractor. As a result, they now have a new carpet, a roof that doesn't leak, and a newly painted house. There are many great stories happening all over Fresno similar to this story. But my favorite story is what motel owners along Parkway Drive are doing to change the narrative and the reputation for a part of town that historically has suffered from significant blight, crime, and human trafficking. NRT helped develop a Motel Owners Association comprised of owners of each property located on Parkway Drive. Since creating this association, owners have invested tens of thousands of dollars in exterior improvements and have been working to establish a new reputation as an attractive short-stay motel option for tourists. And violent crime is down 25% on Parkway Drive since this work began a few years ago. Let's congratulate the motel owners and encourage them to continue the great work. And part of that success is directly attributed to the Lights Up Fresno project. This is a retrofitting Fresno street lights with the new energy-efficient LED lights. Already has replaced 8,500 of the 36,000 traditional street lights that'll be done citywide, should be done by the end of the year. Thanks in partnership with PG&E, these new LED bulbs will provide better visibility and increased safety along the streets. And believe me, these lights are bright. I've seen, for these reasons and so many more, I can honestly say it's about the state of the city that we all love. Fresno has momentum. We have momentum in our economy, momentum in our downtown, momentum in our neighborhoods, and most of all, we have momentum in our attitudes. We can say with pride, Fresno is a great city. And we have momentum on how we're handling challenges too. Homelessness continues to be a crisis in California. And while Fresno has lower rates and lower numbers than other cities in California, it's still a constant struggle. Last year, we started the process to partner with county officials to form Street to Home Fresno County that included local agencies in the Fresno, Madera continuum of care engaged in providing services for the homeless in our community. Let's thank our county supervisors for their commitment to this program and the better partnership we have with our county supervisors. Please give them a hand. I believe we have the best relationship between the city and the county in probably 20 or 30 years. I want to thank our council members and our supervisors both. We received about $13 million in state funding after meeting with the other big city mayors in California earlier this year. The Governor Newsom, has promised more resources to help us with this crisis in his budget. So we got about $14 million last year, hoping to get at least a couple $1 million more than last year. And we are providing proactive resources to prevent homelessness in households on the edge through diversion programs. We're creating small, low-barrier shelters strategically located in our community rather than warehousing the poor in one huge shelter with few exits for housing. And we're providing housing with existing landlords, offering assistance to reduce their risk and renting to folks fresh off the streets. Actual projects have started and will start in the next 30 days, building a path from the streets to the shelters, to bridge housing, and ultimately to permanent housing. In short, collaboration with Fresno County, the continuum of care, my fellow mayors, the governor, and many others are helping folks find their own way home. That's what we want to find. I told you last year, I will not be a caretaker mayor, and I will set the bar high, and I stand by that promise. I'm still focused like a laser on job creation and economic development, and you cannot deny our success so far. We have seen unprecedented growth during my tenure as mayor. Almost 5,000 new jobs that has translated into historically low unemployment numbers for Fresno. It's currently 5.3% for the month of April. Back in 2012, we were up to 18%. And during the past year, it's been consistently lower than any 12-month period in the city's history. Give City of Fresno a hand on that one. Just last month, I had the honor of standing with the CEO of Ulta Beauty and over 500 employees celebrating their one-year anniversary in Fresno. When Ulta Beauty got ready to start hiring last spring, I worked with Ulta, Fresno EOC, and Fresno EDC to make sure the first 50 people hired came from the Welfare to Work program. And I want to thank Luis Santana and his staff at Reading and Beyond for their help and their service in identifying these potential employees. Please give them a hand. And we have some really good stories, but we're going to focus on one. So one of these employees, Welfare to Work, whose life has been transformed, is Rosa Flandes. Her story is very compelling. Let's watch.
When I came here and I didn't have a job and, I have 2 kids and with one income, only my husband's income, it was very hard. But, I find out there is help. One day I was looking at the paperwork from the medical, of my kids' medicals, and so it says, that they can help you find a job. That's when I find out about Reading and Beyond. Well, first I started going there for interviews, like to prepare me for a new job and how to do an interview and do it right. Now I know, there's always a place to go and somebody who can come and help you, not necessarily money-wise, but guide you and tell you where to go and where to find the jobs and stuff. And I look up the Ulta, and I did like it, all the things they do. So I went back to them and they start training me. They helped me get new clothes for the interview and stuff. And so that day, they set up an interview with Ulta. And the day I went, they hired me. Oh, I love it. I mean, even though it's a night shift, but I love it. You know, you just go there and everybody's friendly. Everybody's like, I don't know, it seems like everybody's very happy. I can go out with my kids. I can take them places that I was not able to do it before because I didn't have a job. And so, you know, everywhere we go is nice, it's clean, it's like, I don't know, you go in the morning, it's a fresh breeze, there's not the crazy traffic, you know, I don't know, it's just, I love it.
You're here. These stories keep me going. But Rose's story is only one of hundreds that proves when it comes to adding new jobs, we need to go beyond statistics, and look at the human side. These people have names, they have hopes, they have dreams, and they have families that depend upon them. We need to provide the building blocks to attract business that can offer good jobs and steady income, to transform their lives and liberate them from the shackles of poverty and put to an end the cycle of generational poverty that has burdened this town for far too long. We need to make a change. If you want to change the trajectory of someone's life, if you want to give a family hope, there are only two things that have any chance at all to fundamentally changing someone's future: education and employment. That's why I still have a lofty goal to bring 10,000 new jobs to Fresno by the end of 2020. I know I've cut my margin short by about 4 years, but I'm going to still push all the way. I stand by my promise. To the last day I'm here, I will push for 10,000 new jobs. If we can do it, this is a tremendous gift to our community. Before I announce my new initiative for the coming year, let me acknowledge our Fresno City Council members for their hard work in governing the city of Fresno. Would you all stand up? I know there's like 3 or 4 of them here. Thank you for your collaboration. I would also like to acknowledge our department directors and more than 3,000 employees of the city of Fresno, from our first responders to our call center and to everyone in between. We have great people working for a great city. Give our staff a big hand. And as leaders, we should begin with the issues we need to address rather than the policies we want to create. And nowhere is this more evident than in the biggest challenge the city faces: the ongoing struggle to find the resources to rebuild our infrastructure, operational and personnel resources for public safety, parks, and public works. This is Fresno's financial reality. We simply don't have enough property tax, sales tax, and other revenues necessary to deliver our core services. And looking for solutions, the idea of a tax initiative quickly became the talk of the town, and Measure P was born last year. The results of the election were bittersweet for me, but I made a promise to the community that I would invite the leaders from both sides of Measure P to join me to develop a compromise solution. We've held meetings this year, and I feel that we're making progress to find a compromise tax measure with sufficient funding for parks, for public safety, and other needs that our city needs to identify. The goal is a broad-based approach to address all of our city's priorities reasonably and fairly, and hopefully to find a ballot measure on 2020. Rebuilding our police and fire staffing and improving the quality of our streets, sidewalks, and parks is always worthy of our attention, but we can and should do more. One of the most frequent complaints I get from visitors and residents is the unattractive amount of trash that everybody sees on our streets and highways. It's ugly, and we can do something about it. That means a community-wide effort to clean up Fresno's streets, alleys, and highways. I'm announcing today that we are officially launching a new initiative, Keep Fresno Beautiful, that will develop and support public and private partnerships with the goal of establishing sustainable programs, not 1 week, not 1 month, sustainable year-to-year programs to effectively tackle trash in the city of Fresno. And everybody agrees on that one. And the city can do big stuff by beefing up staffing and services and enforcement and cracking down on illegal dumping. Our Public Works Department is already working on a new litter abatement pilot program to issue cleanup contracts to agencies that hire individuals who are transitioning into the workforce, including veterans, homeless, and people from recovery programs. We will also offer one-time cleanup assistance to property owners under the condition that they assume full responsibility to maintain their properties. Our Keep Fresno Beautiful initiative will also work with nonprofit partners to start and maintain cleanup programs across the city. And the goal is to host cleanup events in all seven council districts during the year and provide trash bags to residents who organize their own neighborhood cleanups through a new Adopt a Block program. And I'm happy to say there are groups out there now already taking this initiative to heart. Just last month, the Fresno Grizzlies and Fresno Rescue Mission teamed up to clean up around G Street. Nearly 100 people showed up on a Saturday morning to help. I want to thank Derek Franks and Matt Dildine for their energy and their leadership. Please stand up. And there's a group called West Shaw Neighborhood Association that regularly picks up trash and debris along the busy corridor to beautify Shaw Avenue. Jim Jacobs is the driving force behind this group. Thank you, Jim, and Jim, stand up. And we have our own Councilman Luis Chavez working in conjunction with the developers of the Fancher Creek Town Center who have organized 2 cleanups in his area. Give Luis a hand. And a new non-for-profit called Clean Fresno is already working on a continuous litter removal program for Fresno's freeways and Fresno streets. Steve Hernandez is here representing Clean Fresno. Thank you, Steve, and Kit Hanna for making a difference. This is a big step forward, and we need your help to keep Fresno clean and beautiful. I'm inviting service clubs, churches, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, professional organizations, anyone who wants to lend a hand, please consider hosting a cleanup event, whether it's on your street or a neighborhood that you've never visited. The more people who commit to cleaning up, the better life will be for everyone in Fresno. And we will keep information on Keep Fresno Beautiful initiative on our website and social media soon. Being the mayor of Fresno is an education. I could go off script and talk a couple hours about that. It is truly an education. So earlier this year, I went to the Orange School near the new e-commerce centers in the Reverse Triangle industrial area and spoke with local residents about their concerns. We talked about air quality, water quality, traffic problems, and a number of important issues. And I walked away from that meeting with a new perspective. Some of these people have lived in the industrial area for decades and have valid concerns about the quality of their life. And I promised them we would listen, we would learn, and we would deliver. This is how we continue our growth, our momentum, by committing ourselves to the quiet daily work of improving how we serve our citizens day in and day out. This is how we keep the pedal to the metal, not by shouting and tweeting, by sitting down with each other, by listening, by compromising, by collaborating. Abraham Lincoln endured challenges most of us cannot imagine, and he made our nation's purpose clear. He said, "We are not enemies, but friends. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. When again touched, as surely they will be, by the better angels of our nature." The state of our city is strong, but our strength is being threatened by forces that seek to create the disease in order to sell the remedy. I seek the better angels of our nature. I seek grace in the middle of outrage. I seek sustainable solution when the mob calls for impulsive actions. And I see the light through the darkness. What keeps me going every day, in good times and bad, is this simple premise. What unites us, is much stronger than what divides us. And when the truth is threatened, we must together defeat it. I ask you all to reach out to the other side. This is how we finish strong. This is how we finish together. Thank you again for giving me the privilege and honor of being the mayor of this great city. And God bless you, and may God bless the city of Fresno. Thank you.